The back, Shariffa, who got a brush on the way through as Jolly Star stopped up. 200 to go. Jolly Star went to the front. Head wall late. Jolly Star, a length and a half. Pulling clear. A length and three quarters. Jolly Star won the Newmarket.
Welcome to Bet Doctor, behind the curtain. Look at how pro punters operate. I'm your host, Scoot. We've survived the cyclone up here, and Big John Walter has joined me. Big Red, John Walter.
Wish it was behind the curtain, mate. We survived the cyclone, but we haven't survived Rex the dog down here, who's dropping some hurting bombs on us, but we'll get through it.
He's just dropped his cuts, and it's one of his all-time best. There's a couple of things on the nose up in North Korea, but how are you boys down in Mexico, DK and Nico?
Yeah, we're good down here, mate. It's a place to be. Melbourne, Victoria, this weekend. Don't worry about that. Formula One, footy, racing, the whole shooting match, Nico.
Yeah, I'm keen to get to the footy tonight, watch the Blues win. I hope for that kicks off the weekend on a winning note. Some really good racing as well at Pakenham tonight, Cranbourne, and then VOBIS Day at Caulfield. Probably doesn't have the quality of last week, but it's a very competitive card, and I think it might be a bit of a punter's card as well. So
it's a good game, but they trainers set the horses for it.
Yeah.
So it's grand finals for a few horses, so which makes it exciting racing.
Yeah, so keen to get stuck in, and Launceston on Friday night as well. So it's going to be a massive one.
Yeah, brought to you by TopSport Punting Form and Tasracing. So be our last Tasracing preview. They've done a great job with the Summer Carnival. It's been a belter, and Nico's navigated that well nicely throughout the summer period. Rosehill is the big one. I'm not sure if anything can win the slipper. They're all sort of falling to pieces, the 2-year-olds, but the biggest story is the Rosehill track sell-off. If you follow Mark Latham on Twitter, and if you follow anyone that's been handed information around the vote to save or to sell Rosehill, there's some strange happenings there where you need to vote in person at Rosehill or nominate a proxy. And there's talk that it's a little bit misleading with some of the proxy or the default proxy going to the chairman, Peter McGuiran, who's, I think, going to vote for selling and not retaining it, which is wild in itself. But there's a $5 billion offer on the table, and Mark Latham alleges that it's the true value is $500 million, so it's a 10x over the cost the value that he's been told. So wild scenes, and it's only just going to get hot there, and there's going to be lawyers involved, and this is really, really sticky, John Walter.
Yeah, I think I'll default to whatever you said with Mark, most of it. I was scared to hear him on the radio this morning with Ben Ford and McGuiran saying what a great opportunity is for Sydney to have quality housing established there. Like, well, hang on. Aren't you the chairman of the ATC, not the chairman of the Australian Housing Commission? It's just smelly, isn't it, the whole way? Everything gets set up. There's no real transparency to anything. They throw these numbers around. They've now got pictures of they had him on the radio and they had a picture of the gym that he's going to
Why do members want a gym at the racetrack?
We're really struggling for gyms. I think there's about 5 closed down within 5 Ks of me in the last month and a half, so they're really flying the gyms. And when I go to the races, I think, well, I might just get there a bit early and, run 5 Ks. It doesn't make a lot of sense, but the valuations, they just seem to throw a number out. It's not gross net. There's nothing attached to it. There's no real anything to anything. At least, whether you love him or hate him, Latham, he's throwing a lot of information there, and you can have a look at it and make your own decision. Whereas, what we get from the other side is
zero.
Just very, very washy, isn't it? So, yeah, it's scary. But anyway, I just don't even understand. Say it's 500 mil or $1 billion. Don't we make, isn't the income like 700-800 million a year from wagering? Like, shouldn't we concentrate on building that side of it? Why are we worrying about selling an asset if we've got that sort of income on the other side to one of our biggest? I don't really understand why it's even on the table to be looked at.
Exactly. And we've just seen the civil war, dismember the board at Caulfield, but it sounds like a different scenario, and the ATC have just got full control of what's happening at Rosehill, which is scary because it's at odds with the wishes of the current members. And now that there's this grey area around the voting, it's going to be fascinating to watch it sort of roll out. But everyone in the industry wants the track and wants to keep it. And if the game's going as good and prize money's never been higher, again, why do we need to sell off the asset? It's just mind-blowing stuff. And it's not just there at the moment. It's the Betfair market base rate that they've increased recently. They're still not coming off any of the prize money. And the other thing that I guess the PRAs, or there's a massive push for the World Tote. And you were tweeting about it last week, and if you want to oppose a favourite, if you can try and get a best tote product, yeah, the World Tote can kick out to a better price, but the reality is the tote percentages is going on the increase from, say, 117% to, 122 or 123% that kicks out at the World Tote. So it's great for the bigger players that have got a rebate, but the rank and file punters don't have access to it. So while it appears that you're getting a good price every now and then if the favourite gets beat, you're still betting into a market that's less competitive.
Yeah, so back in the day, 105 used to be about best tote SP. So you take that out. Best tote used to be 110, 112. So if you take, purely if you take the best tote away, it'll be now 120 whatever. That's without SP. The thing is, once there's no opposition, like bookies have to bet best tote SP to be somewhat competitive, and they probably don't like doing it. As soon as you remove best tote, so you remove the 112 and pump it to 122, now their only opposition's 122. So starting prices will go higher because they don't have to be competitive with other bookies. So our best, I'd say it's the best product for every recreational that bets late is best tote SP, is 112. That'll become 122. So it'll be 10% worse prices for everybody. Yeah. And only if you get bonuses and whatever, like your boosts and things, will it get any better than that? And that's really scary for everyone. It's not that scary for us. Like, to be fair, it probably affects us the least of anyone.
Yep.
So, but the marketplace is what sustains the industry, and the biggest loss would be that product. So, again, you're getting no transparency from the other side. All these questions are asked. I actually get sick of talking about it myself. It drives me insane talking about it.
Yeah.
But it is such a big issue. And it looks like it's just going to be rolled out very similar to this Rosehill thing with no opposition. And they're just going to, like, why can't we? I just saw a thing yesterday might have been a trot track in America, having a crack at reducing turnover on 3 or 4 of their races on the card. There's never even a talk of that. There's never a talk of anything. But why isn't there a talk of trying to reduce turnover and reduce takeouts, not increase takeouts?
Yeah, well, in the past 6 months, Tristan was one of the only bookies that actually increased their turnover, and he did that by dropping his market percentages and introducing the 110% market. So he defied gravity and defied the current trend of the decline by incentivising punters with better prices. So, it's
his only point of difference. And to be 1,000,000% fair, he was pretty much non-competitive at other times, knowing that he can't compete, outside of late in the race or late in the day or when he does these 110. So he was pretty much non-competitive for a lot of the time. But when he can use his bookmaking background late when everything's sort of, he pushed and he could hold more money. That's a good thing for us.
Yep. Yeah, and the PRAs have only got really one sort of lever at the moment, and they just keep adding market percentage to it and then just saturating the market with just copious amounts of product. Like
promos.
I don't know why we need to be racing and betting on a Monday and why we can't actually have a second and third more premium meeting. Like it's a bit of a joke when a place like Benalla gets called off for 15 mil of rain, and they've got a long history, and there's sort of no repercussions from them from not getting their track right in their facilities. Like, it's just wastage that the industry doesn't need.
Talking about spending 30, 40, 50 million on a proposal that no one asked for at Rosehill when exactly the same thing happens, once, twice a week. I think we lost a meeting at Port Macquarie the other day when they were running, fast 2 times, but there was a section from the 600 to the 400 or something that was cast, and the meeting's off after two races. So, yeah, it's never ending. But yeah, the amount of meetings now in New South Wales and the amount of scratchings, like scratchings has got to be upward of 20 to 30% in every meeting. How can that be a positive?
DK, have you found anyone that kicks up for the World Tote?
No, definitely not. But apparently it's the top of Gill's list when he's taken over tabs. So it's top, as Walt said, I think they're rolling it out regardless of what's going to happen. It's coming. Nico?
Yeah, well, even looking on Saturday, like what we're doing the preview Thursday, and Jolly Star's $5, $5.50 comes Saturday. She starts $3 on those totes. I think another will start a favourite on the World Tote. I don't know. Just off everything I sort of read, I'm probably not as sort of informed as you guys on it, but everything I sort of read and look into, it doesn't seem any good to sort of look to bet into that, especially with favourites on Saturdays, which is where a majority of punters have their bets at the end of the day.
And they're getting 15% odd rebate or something to that effect, 10 to 15% rebate, the people that are betting them down to those prices. So win, lose or draw, they're getting something back, and they can bet into other options or whatever as well.
Exactly. And we're just a completely different scenario to Hong Kong and Japan at this stage, and there's just got to be different rules and different regulations. But the Australian market should be thriving, and we've got plenty of products, and we need to keep it. And they've pushed us down this fixed odds model, so we need more products rather than less
competition.
Less options as well. All right, 110% markets. They're back again, which is great news. So that's why you should be betting with TopSport. And this week it's the Peter Young at Caulfield Group 2 event. There's not many, they barely got a full field there, but Kanga's playing bookie. He's going to shout drinks if Pride of Jenny hits the line there. So 110% market at TopSport. And then you've got Rosehill, you've got the Coolmore, the Ajax, and you've got the Phar lap. So odds to 5,000, 3 till 4 Friday. Make sure you're logged into TopSport and you get sorted and get set there. Nico, you were pretty good last week. My temptation was an absolute ripper, pretty easy steer. You got the Caulfield and Tassie double, so you're going to round out the Summer Carnival in style there with Launceston Friday night. Walt linebacker, sorry.
It was weird, wasn't it? It was just the price was the weird part. Like, we finally got the change of tactics. It was sort of 9 into 7, then it got back at sort of $10 plus, and he's a psycho, the horse, isn't he? But geez, he's got an engine. Holy cow, he held broadsiding completely on his merits, you'd have to say. I don't think it'd be hard to say that broadsiding didn't have his chance. So betting next time around, I guess they'll split up a bit now, won't they? But yeah, he's the real linebacker stood up on Saturday.
Just probably didn't get the trip to my broadsiding, so I'd be interested to see if they maybe bring him back to 1,400.
No, I don't think I'll be stepping him up, but I don't know what they'll do with him. The other couple will probably head to the Doncaster and they'll be right in it. You'd think a very strong test of if they don't measure up in a Doncaster down in the weights, linebacker and Swift Falcon, then that 3-year-old form's just absolutely cast.
Yeah, he looks like he might be run short there, Swift Falcon. So I think he'd be the one that I want to be on. Komachi was eye-catching. Good find there. She's in for a massive prep. And then you got the Group 1 Coolmore. And there's 4 big races that we're going to have a look at Rosehill. So I'll be interested to see how much water they put on the deck. DK, you got the lot, gapping the All-Star Mile faves. So,
I was right there. Yeah, 100%. Jeez, that was an easy watch, wasn't it? Anyway. No room on the scoreboard for stories. Number in frame.
But it was nearly exactly what we said would happen, right? It was picture perfect, really. Like, it was obviously unlucky, but it was a big chance to happen. What happened? It was big fella was out of trouble. Old mate outside the leader kick away, and if the big fella could get him, and Jamie would be sitting behind praying.
Yeah.
Pretty much exactly what happened.
Well, DK, you'll be praying. You're going for a hat trick of tomato sauce winners.
Hang on. And you could swim.
They call him Heinz.
You could swim in black figures, this Marina de Campo, and they put the markets up. There's 225, 230, as much as you like. And some smart people hammered it in. But I did get the staggers, though. There, the old David Price first starter, drawn well, got smashed in the betting late. And I got the heebie-jeebies as they jumped. And then I'm looking at the field and said, where's the danger? And it stayed in the gates, God bless it. And my thing won by 8 lengths. So it was one for the good guys.
Yeah, Masterfoods, king of the tomato sauce. A few people were telling me to give you a bit of a G up.
Yeah, catch up.
Hasn't worked.
I don't know if you can have an easier watch this Friday night, DK.
No, we'll get to that in a minute, Nico.
Jolie Star was okay for me. I was pretty happy when Headball was the only thing that was sort of chasing it.
Oh, it was
I
a bit
knew I was
like
pretty
the other one.
safe.
It was in nearly the exact same spot as the grey the week before, wasn't he? Just poke it up and you're like,
give yourself a good rap there, Scoot. You were very bullish, from what I remember.
Yes.
Very bullish.
Yeah,
Jolly Star.
yeah.
When it was $5.
$6 had to be
$6.
It just had to be wrong one way or the other, wasn't it? It was and now all of a sudden she'll be winning the TJ. She's going to Ascot.
Royal
She
Ascot,
was in the doldrums 4 days ago. Isn't it an amazing game?
No, they just gave her the race without Jimmy Star there, I thought. And hopefully everyone chimed in and got the good odds before the World Tote got you. Bouncing Beyond was the cherry on top, the grey, the feisty grey over in SA. That was an absolute piss of that one. Jason Holder's riding like out of his skin at the moment. He's in career best form. Was a tricky ride for him and found the line just in time. But there was a couple. Johnny Kelton's tip and there was another one that hit the line there. So got away with one, I think, with Bouncing Beyond. So it's a tricky one for the lucky last this week. I might encroach into your neck of the woods, Walt. There's an interesting betting match there. And that's a weird one with the Brizzy doubleheader. We've got Eagle Farm during the day. First race is at 10:28, and then last race is at 8:15 at the Gold Coast Saturday night. So I'll be in the chair for 15 hours gambling, which is good. Well,
yeah, we talked about this earlier. I get very scared. When there's a lot of rain, I get very scared. Horses get stuck in their boxes. They start, their feet get everything. You just don't know what happens, like they get, it's just bad thing. Oh, if you can win this Saturday, you are the best. You are the
come
best.
out roaring. I'll give it a crack, but might just go a little bit off script there, and I'll find a black booker instead. TopSport Steam, Tommy Kitten got the job done. So as DK said, no, what is it? No stories on the scoreboard. So
No room.
we'll run with that one. No room for him. So let's get into Friday at Cranbourne. It's race 6. It's the Computer Talk Business IT Experts Handicap over 1,400 metres. A beauty here, Astral Flame for Enver, Carleen on again, $2.20, Hughes, $4.20, Zapporing, $4.40, Rock the Bar, $5.50, Anilla, $12, Love and Last, $12. Not a bad little contest this, but Astral Flame is the one you like, DK, coming out of that hot Pakenham form.
Yeah, this is the Future Stars final, and this is just grouse form. The winner, no strings attached, copped a B-Shin special, just getting out here to run past. It was supposed to run in the Australian Guineas. They ran here instead because it was emergency. It would have got a run because Angel Capital came out, but it didn't. Now it goes to the Phar Lap Stakes in Sydney. Enver's horse, the one I like. Look at Gala Queen. Look at it steam to the line, and then it's gone. I've gone drunk on it. It's gone to Morpheville on Monday and beaten that good horse Sabaj over there in the Morpheville Guineas with a 5 links to the rest. There's a Japanese horse in there. Mick Price paid $700,000 for it, and it was the thing on the inside. Then you got the other two that I wrapped up on the show the other week, talking about a race, Astral Flame and Chest of Gold. Chest of Gold's a moral Friday night and about race for it, but they put it up $1.60. And then this thing, Astral Flame. So, this is a very, very progressive horse of EJ's. What you didn't see there was a bit grubby out of the gates, so which wasn't ideal. You can't really do much wrong in $300,000 Future Stars finals. Got to the 1-1, but just probably got left exposed a bit late. But that form, and it's got a heap of upside. And apparently, only going off. I remember on debut, it was steamed on debut at Sandown, and I liked the horse with her race form, Serena. And then it came out of the yard. The yard watcher said it is an absolutely magnificent type of horse. And as soon as the paddock parade was over, it was steamed in the betting, and it went like a Learjet. Went like a Learjet second start. That was its third start. So this is look. These are benchmark 70s, not a bad field. Usual suspects, horses of that grade, and then you got this horse with a heap of upside from the right camp. What I did think here would happen, I know it's Carleen drawn barrier 6, but I think this will pan out well for her. There's good speed here, like Love and Laughs likes to roll. Monchify likes to roll third up. It'll roll. It followed Love and Laughs the other day. Hughes will kick up from the inside with Al Bates. And Zapporing will probably want to hold a spot as well. I think she can just slot in. I like it better with cover. I thought it showed a massive turn of foot first up when it came from the back. So I think it goes better with a bit of cover, bit of tempo on, the right camp. I mean, when you find an EJ horse, the only thing is, as we know, we'd like a jock upgrade, but it'll get it in the future at some stage, and it'll be a max bet then. But I think she's good enough it's good enough, Astral Flame, to take this out on its way to better races on Friday night.
Yeah, like horse looks have so much talent, and how good is EJ going? Like he's got her in, he's got 2 in tonight that look hard to beat. Mixit's in the final. DK, you said, 6 months ago, that's a Saturday class horse, and he finally gets there in race 10 at Caulfield. But if you look for his career, he goes at 14%. His last 50, he's going at 32%. Yeah. He's been the most airborne bloke over the summer. So when EJ's going well, the game's going good.
And that horse you tipped on the way was a big win. It's a good horse, my temptation.
I think that's his best horse.
Yeah, it's a beauty, but he's very loyal to his track record. I remember, I think I tipped Mixit on the show here in a maiden at Theodore Ladd on it. Remember that? And then it went from Theodore Ladd to C. Williams. That's one 3.5 Williams goes on the week. So this will get the jock change at some stage, but now he's loyal to Carleen, and that's okay. She knows the horse well, so I like can't find much trouble here, drawn 6 or 6 or 6 or 7. So, but I think she can slot the 1-1, and I just love this. Look, Gala Queen. I mean, this form is just A-grade form for country horses, provincial horses, that Future Stars this year.
Start shorter? Has to start shorter.
Just so I'm not going to. But anyway, there's better odds out there, and much better odds out there. So I think it might, just with Carleen drawn wide, they might be a little, we'll just see, but you can get better odds.
Wow, DK, I haven't heard him this bloody barred up for a Friday. Gosh, in months, almost years. So this is an absolute get on job. And DK, I think you're slipping. You need to start giving Adelaide a little bit more respect. I was there Monday, Adelaide Cup Day. I backed it, and I tell you what, the second horse goes pretty good too. I think it's called Sabage or something. It's got
they space the
got the Italian colours. Because I had a bit of an opinion of that horse, but once I got into my tapes, I thought, oh, hang on, you're a serious animal as well.
Yeah, Gala Queen.
Yeah,
P Stokes.
come on, DK.
Talk about
Mondays.
Him later
Nico, what's going to happen? Rail +6, dry as a chip in Melbourne at Caulfield. This, to me, and probably Walt, is nightmare fuel.
Oh, yeah. But yesterday it poured with rain most of the day. So they've had a bit of a drink there. I don't know. It's going to be, 38 degrees or something on Saturday, DK. So you'd
too.
think.
That warm, is it? Jeez.
Yeah, it's going to be hot. So I would think maybe there's a chance the races even move forward. So, yeah, just sort of wait and see. The bets I'm having are sort of middle part of the program, so we can watch a few of the first few races. But I think a lot of the races, there is a lot of dead wood in them. So, yeah, I would imagine this card shoots relatively straight, even with a potential pattern or things in favour for a few that just don't have the class. There's a few horses that are very well weighted relative to their handicaps, and there's a few that are sort of chancing their arm and might map a little bit better, but probably don't have the class.
Fascinating watch with the weather because there's 17 mil right up. It's Ginger coming on Sunday. So stay tuned and it'll be fascinating to see what they do in terms of getting the hose out and giving it a good drink. Race 4's one of Nico's best bets. It's the Barristock Benchmark 74 over 1,200 metres. Documentary's favourite at $4. Tatsumaki is $6. Proved $6. Willenda $8. Pure Alpha for 10. Impressive Enough 14. And you got Excess 14. Much better than the rest. Documentary's the horse that you like here. Nick Ryan building a picket fence, going for win number 3.
Yeah, I'm 90% sure Prove will come out and run tonight, so there'll be some deductions here. But here's Documentary in the box seat, just sort of gets the job done here. I think it'd be suited getting away from Moonee Valley onto a bigger track at Caulfield. Big tell with this horse, or a big sign, was Mark Zahra's bid on board in 2 rides. He doesn't head out to the Valley all that often on a Friday night, especially with some big meetings the next days. And this horse just got the job done. I think he'd be much better suited in potentially a faster run race where he can sort of balance up. He's a 6-year-old gelding, so he had 2 starts for 2 wins. Not sort of sure he's fallen background there, but they've obviously kept him up all this time because there's a fair bit of ability there. Really sort of elevated his rating last start. The debut performance was good, but it was a lot in the back end. It wasn't the fastest run race. He ran the fastest last 400 of the meeting. Did absolutely smash, just like Gabby and Appointed, who both come out and won their next starts. So the form lines around him look really good. I think from barrier 1, I would imagine it's no disadvantage to be near the rail, just with how the track may be. So Zara's just got to probably pick his way through the field here. And we saw on Sunday, DK, Nick Ryan, he trained a treble at Echuca, and he quinelled the cup. So he's in a fair bit of form lately.
He targets that meeting. I don't know if he's from up that way or whatever, but he targets that meeting every year, and I saw all those horses on Sunday. I thought he'd be in for a big day. These will all be set for it. But the old reverse-a-roo in the cup, though, Nico, for the punters, the roughie beating the short price 5. But anyway, but no, this is a nice horse. I like your thing. I think there's some chance he might end up 3 back the rally, but it looks like good speed.
And I thought if that is the case, he did take that gap last start. Like he sort of had to manoeuvre off, and he does have a little bit of race sense. If it was just coming off the debut run where he sat back and looped him, you'd think barrier 1 might be a small concern, but he ended up, on the fence there, box seat, and just had to take the gap. So he's a horse that I think is going to be adaptable. And there just doesn't look a whole lot here that's going to go to the next level. And I think he's a horse that really can sort of keep progressing off the way his ratings are. As we said, Prove probably comes out. She would have been the big danger.
Definitely coming out.
This European, Hong Kong Hayes horse is probably one of the more interesting horses you do the form on. He's had 3 starts in the UK, won all 3 of them. Then he went to Hong Kong and they couldn't get him to the races there, but he had a fair few trials, and he's had, I think it's 1,258 days since his last run, but he's had 3 jump out wins. I thought looking at his most recent jump out, just really zooming in on the sort of type he is, I wouldn't be surprised if he needed the run. It looked like he was a horse that can carry a fair bit of conditions. So it'd be interesting to see what the market does with him, given there's a fair bit of ability there, but off 1,260 days come race day, it's a long time off.
Yeah, you got to let them beat you, Nico, for sure. That's quite incredible to hear that. But Documentary for the Riverina boy. I think he's from Corowa, Nick Ryan. Good good breeding grounds there up on the Murray River. So that's probably why he doesn't mind a Chuka there, DK. And I think he might have a couple of lads trips that go up there knowing Nick and what sort of style of guy he is. So race 4 documentary to make it 3 on the trot. And nice little pearl there from Nico. M. Zara, when he goes to the Valley, he's not going there for practice. Caulfield race 5 is the next one. It's the VOBIS Platinum Guineas over 1,600 metres, and Benadryl $4 favourite. Athananos is $4.40, bit of shush, $4.40. Then you got Perfect Picture for Beggy, who's also in some form, and then $4.80. Sorry, Zero's Flight $9.50, and then you got Gellhorn $12 and better the rest. Bit of shush is the one that you like, Nico. Just giving a bit of a pipe opener here out the bush.
Yeah, it wasn't the strongest race, and he comes to the middle of the track here and just absolutely bolts in. He couldn't have won it in any better style. I thought the most interesting part of the race was early in the race when he copped a massive sort of bump check around the 1,200 metre mark. He nearly fell. So to sort of pick himself up from that point of the race and still finish off like he did, Jamie Mallon went out for this ride and was pretty effortless in the end. Look, he's got a few different things on Saturday compared to what he saw there. He's got to step up to the mile. He's drawn an inside barrier, whereas that start he sort of went around the field and didn't really have any sort of time in the race where he had to take a gap. So on Saturday, it's probably a little bit different, but I love the style of the win. And just looking through the race, I didn't really want to be with Benadryl or Perfect Picture. I know they were behind Treasure at the moment, but that race just had a little bit of a smell to me in behind it. Don't know, Benadryl just... she didn't really grab me in the yard first up. I think she's going to be better over further. Perfect Pictures maybe suited stepping up to 1,600, but I think she's well enough found. And I backed Athanatos the other week. He struggles to win, and he did win at a mile last campaign, beating Gold Rush Guru, but they went about 20 lengths below to the 600 metre mark, and I don't see that happening here. And then Zorro's Flight, I backed him last start at the midweeks, and weird run race. It was fast run, but I thought he was a little bit disappointing. So it just could be the right scenario to get something, fresh form. It's absolutely bolted in on the debut, and maybe this is the race they've sort of set it for. It's a big prize money race, $500,000. Malin went out there to ride it, so there was obviously a fair bit of intent, and the horse had a bit go wrong early and still bolted in. So there's a lot of talent there, and I think there's a fair few chinks in a few of the other runners. So obviously waiting for the yard before I make a real decision, but very interested in this horse on Saturday.
Yeah, you're not concerned about might have been the first juice of that track was worst juice. It might have been watered for a hot day or something. I was concerned that didn't run any time, Nico. Like the benchmark 58 in the same day ran similar time. And I'm thinking it might have run over because I know I got knocked down early, but then they went flat out. So I was just run over tired horses, and visually the eye. But anyway, we might have to have a head-to-head bet here because I'm very keen on Athanatos. Very keen. They're both the same price. Was listening to the radio the other morning and P. Stokes got on and said, don't think today he'll run okay, but he's going to be cherry ripe for the VOBIS day over a mile. And he was worried about gate 9, worried about 1,200 to 1,500. So now it's third up at the mile, drawn low. It's got the Gold Rush Guru before. It's got the Swift Falcon form. That's the best form in my opinion. So another hot camp at the moment. P. Stokes is a Gala Queen. So just going off what he said, he had reservations last start. Well, it was beaten at 2:35. Might have looked a little bit disappointing, but he said cherry ripe third up. So at all points, Athanatos for me.
It wasn't like it was a bad run. Like he did a lot of work from back in the field. He probably just peaked on the run a little bit late. But
it's like where do you back him in to run a mile? But I mean, Stokes is he's like I said, we're talking about EJ in form. P. Stokes is in great form at the moment too.
Yeah, it could be between the two of them. There seems a few holes in this race, so I wouldn't be shocked if he was able to get up.
Yeah, I can see your doubts on him though, Nico. So this will be a ding-dong battle. So maybe bracket bet the two or Dutch him up, bit of shush, $4.40, and then Athanatos at $4.40, and hopefully you guys get the cash at home. Race 6 is the Peter Young. I'm not going to bother with any replays here. Zadozi was super last start, $2.05. Flemington to Caulfield, though, could be a worry. Prior to Jenny is back from the abyss. When I first saw it in, I thought, it's prior to Shelby. I thought that horse was completely gone, but $2.50 here. Future history, $7. Plenty of ammo, 10 into 8, and you got Q Tempster is $13, and Bois de Jean first up, $21. Nico, you heard it before. Kanga's going to shout the bar if Pride of Jenny wins this race. Is his bet safe, or is he in a bit of strife?
I I think he's safe, to be honest. I think there's real queries around her. Obviously, how she finished last campaign. There was the talk that she was going to be retired. Then she came back into work, and there wasn't really much sort of said about it. And then it was, she's back. She's had one jump out over 1,000 meters. It's just like all of her last campaign, she's been first up over 1,400. Now all of a sudden she's first up over 1,800. They're aiming to the Australian Cup, which is in 2 weeks, off one jump out, where she was solid, but I thought she was doing a fair bit of work there. It just seems to me like maybe they're chasing their tail a little bit here. Like, I don't know. It seems a scary sort of setup to really want to dive into her for mine. But then you got Zardozi, who her worst run last campaign was at Caulfield in the Caulfield Cup. And then she improved lengths when she went back to Flemington. So there's some sort of queries there. I thought Plenty of Ammo, Future History, maybe the map horses. If Plenty of Ammo can get back to what she did in the Crystal Mile, I'd probably want to back her here. But her first up run was a little bit underwhelming. So, yeah, I wouldn't even be surprised if Q Tempesta got the right sort of drag in here off the way he's jumped out and was able to finish strong. It's a really icky race, but I'd have Zardozi on top, and yeah, I'd be with Kanga. He's obviously taken her on. He's hoping she gets beat. So, yeah, I'd be sort of looking to be against Jenny just off. I don't know, it just feels like that this maybe wasn't the set plan. Like, it just doesn't feel right to me.
The joint knows her so well, though, and got so much data on her and know how to, you've got to sort of back them in there, Mara, a bit, even though they're not setting the house on fire. I'll tell you what I'm looking forward to here with her is Froggy on board. Now, I reckon I might have had this little pearl to myself for a while, which is Froggy on a leader. So Froggy's got these tackies, like he's different to D Bates. D Bates rolls. He rolls on them like even tempo, builds tempo early. Froggy, intent from the gates. Everyone says, see Froggy waving his arms out of the gates. They hand up the lead to him easy. Then he has a breather. Then you watch him at the 600 and he just goes scoot and he really puts links on them and tries to get them all off the bit and chasing and then see Catch Me If You Can. And I do it a lot in the video comments I do on horses in the country. I'll Froggy on the leader. There he goes, scooting at the 600. See Catch Me If You Can. So I'm really interested to see how Froggy handles this, riding her, and I reckon that's one of the exciting aspects of this race.
Well, you have to go back a little while, but he has ridden her before. He rode her in the stocks when Amelia's dual beat her, which is probably when she really burst onto the scene, really, that spring. So, yeah, he rode her in the jump out as well. He seems the new man for the connections. Yeah, interesting. I don't know. I probably couldn't have a confident bet right now, but come Saturday, it's a race. I'm very keen to see her in the yard and just how forward she is.
I'm very nervous about this. Deck off, Scooty off, Big Trev Lawson off, Cox Plate, she was off, Champions Mile off. John?
If you were trying to blow the owner up, what would you do, Scoot? Would you give it one jump out and then put in an 1800 first up with Craig Newitt on it? Because that's probably the only way I could get more respect for Kanga is if this horse is 6-4 to 20s and he's got 2.7 million out of it on Betfair. and then Newitt sits up on it at the 400. This is a disaster. Good luck. I just hope she gets around safe.
Yeah.
It's Shelby 66 all over again, really is. I just hope she gets around because it
stinks.
Well, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense for Kieran Ma to do any of it. So I don't understand. It feels like there's an explosion in the camp and he's just gone whatever.
Who's steering this ship?
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't. The wheels are falling off.
Doesn't Otobre tell him where to run it? Doesn't he?
Well, he must because there must have been no 3,200 metre races around, so he's just this was his second choice.
East. Yeah, jeez, I don't like this.
No, I dead set.
Not
a cupboard job.
They'll lift the roof off the joint. Everyone loves a free drink. They'll lift the roof off the joint if she wins.
Yeah,
I hope they do.
Yeah, I hope they do for that sake. And I hope she gets around. But where does this betting of horses?
Well, that's the other thing. I wish there was something you could back to beat it.
Well, does Grace Forbes, just because it's a lowly Group 2 event, does Grace Forbes still run the ruler over these horses? Because you'd nearly want to in this scenario.
You see in stewards' reports if they're coming back from like arthroscopes or stuff like that, or chips out, the vet runs the eye over in pre-race. So I don't know what they'll do with her.
Well, she seems sound. Like she's never had any issues of pulling up lame or anything. Yeah. The problem ended last campaign was she had a bleed. So she would have to, the jump out and all that would have to.
First up off a bleed.
Tick off what the stewards sort of thought there.
And first up of a bleed, they normally have like 14 weeks in the stable, 3 trials, and run in a fast run race. Like Oh my God, that's even worse.
As a 7-year-old mare that's won over $10 million, do you think she'd done enough and she's in the paddock given, having babies?
Exactly.
It's a really poor taste for mine. And I've been a Tony's good for the game person for a very long time, but he's lost me. He's completely lost me. And like John says, I hope he gets around. But the best thing you can do is get Nico's yard. He's going to have the final say. So if there's any signs of distress or anything abnormal, he's going to report it. I'm not sure if he needs his windsock. He'll probably have the fan strapped to his head because it's going to be so hot out there at 36 clicks. But make sure you check out his Twitter handle at Nico Noonan or Nico's Yard and make sure you get his final say because he's doing the hard work at the track for you. All right, good old Caulfield. Interesting to see how it pans out. But Rosehill, Walt, it's pretty warm up in Sydney as well. How much water are they going to put on the track and how do you think it's going to play?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. How would you know? You get more nervous when it's 30, 33, 34, no rain, don't you, than if there isn't. But they got it right last week. Give credit there. You've got to give them credit when you bag them all the time. Everyone had a heart attack when there was rain around. They put water on Friday, sort of didn't tell anyone, and then sprung on everyone, and then all of a sudden the track raced really well, and it was actually probably on the better side of good form. So, yeah, I don't know. It's obviously pivotal to Rosehill probably more than Randwick because if it is firm and fast, leaders will be advantaged and inside will be good. If they do dump a lot of water on it, it could be playing havoc. So, yeah, it's important, but the answer is a pineapple at this stage.
Perfect. Glad that we've got some clarity there. Race 5 is the first one. It's the Sky Heights. It's the Asahi Super Dry, 2,000 metres. Lindemann favourite, $2.40 for Wally. Arapaho, $4. Vauban, $4.40 in the new camp, in the Australian bloodstock colours. My colours, as Walt says, for Gaybot. And you got Land Legend, $5, Kinesiology, 11, Circle of Fire, 21. We've got 2 replays. We've got Lindemann, its last start performance. You got Via Sistina in here. You got Land Legend out the back. You got Arapaho. And then we'll have a look at the Vauban replay. But what do you think about the favourite here, Lindemann first?
Nearly identical setup to last prep for this horse. 2 little pipe openers in these weight for age races. Obviously more than ticked the boxes here. He took a sit this time. He led first up. Both runs really good. What price would Via Sistina be in this race? Probably $1.30. So, yeah, she's got the better of him late, and it was run to suit him. But, Arapaho is the obvious horse that could sort of potentially turn the tables out of that. But it's going to be run the same way for him.
Yeah, in the pink or fuchsia cap with the Australian bloodstock colours.
Mate, I'm colourblind. You're throwing fuchsia at me.
Yeah,
down the outside.
Beside the yellow horse.
Down the outside. So, what do you do? So, can we fly Nico up to Sydney for the yard to watch this horse? I think it, from all reports, the horse is going extremely well, and it's just a matter of how he handles race day and the new environment and settling in and all that. So if he shows up, they're probably racing for second, you'd have to say, and I think the price is probably attractive. It does look a bit of a match race to me. I think Kinesiology's well set up. Arapaho's okay, but I think it's probably borderline looking for further. Like a sit sprint now is probably not suitable to it, whereas a little bit more freshness in the legs, it probably looked as good as it could. Land Legend, you would think, again, probably needs another one. I think it ran second up in a similar race to this last time, got beat sort of 4, went good and then improved off that. You'd expect those 2 horses to put in a run like that. So Lindemann just gets everything to suit. And Vauban's just a great addition to the card. This is a good little
race.
Yeah, good little race. It's a good little spectacle, and not my sort of cup of tea usually, but
free bet. What are you going to do? Well,
no, honestly, you have to wait. You'd have to wait and just see. I'd take 6-4 Lindemann if Vauban is up to his old tricks, and if he parades like a cool dude, I'd be chiming into $4. I'd rather take $3.50 about Vauban late and wait and see than take $4.50 early and watch him melt. And I'd happy to sit on the fence with Lindemann and see what Vauban does. But I think it's a betting late option only race.
Nico, you've probably got the most intimate knowledge of Vauban, seen him in the flesh a couple of times. What do you think about 2000 first up off that trial?
I really liked the trial. I thought he was strong to the line, strong through the line. Yeah, he's interesting. They got the earmuffs on going on pre-race for the first time, which is the red earmuffs, and then the stallion chain on. They're taking the blindfold, the tongue tie, and the crossover off. 2 years ago in the Melbourne Cup, he completely melted in the yard and was just like that. He just ran his race in the yard pretty much. Last year, he was more relaxed in the yard, but he was still very big in condition. So going a gay bot, not many of their horses come into the yard needing a run, so I would expect you see a very different animal to what a lot of the yard watchers would have seen sort of in the Cup, and probably treating him as a clean slate pretty much. And yeah, he's an interesting runner off that trial. If there was no Lindemann here, you'd probably be really sort of taking a chance on him, but he is flying Lindemann, so he'll give him something to catch. But it's a good race. It's kind of like a sort of a bit of a preview towards the Sydney Cup and the Tancred. Land Legend gets J-Mac, Circle of Fire. He sort of got back to his best, or somewhere near his best in the Melbourne Cup. What can he sort of do this autumn? Even kinesiology is trending the right way for a Sydney Cup. So yeah, I'm sort of keen to watch it. There'll be a bit to take out of it.
I just thought Lindemann, the third up 2,000. He looks as most suited at 2,000 to me. So I doubt the rest can beat him at 2,000. But especially the way he's going. So I thought he was nearly a good thing in Lindemann.
Yeah, I'd probably
agree. Yeah, I agree. As long as Vauban's not there, sort of thing, or vulnerable. Yeah.
I'm a bit wary of Vauban. I think that he was maybe like there was the decoy, or he's been just the patsy for absurd both times in the Melbourne Cup. I'm going to put the tinfoil hat on.
But that's if you do that. Well, are you saying good or bad?
Well, I'm saying that Vauban could be a moral.
That's exactly right. Because if for what Nico's saying, if they just threw him on the truck to come with absurd, and he wasn't prepared second time round, first time he melted. Now he's had a full prep, acclimatisation, new stable, blah-de-da-de-wah-de. Unfortunately, he doesn't get a Malian, which normally comes with the colours. But we've got old Bargy Ass Clark instead, and mate, he'll be rapt to sort of get this horse home too.
Yeah, it's enough to put the wind up me, so I might sit that one out. Yeah, but just woe betide. I tell you what, if they back it, it'll be winning.
His old mate's still in the ownership. Did he sell half or did he sell a lot? Rich Richie.
Don't know.
No? Saw he had a winner at Cheltenham. He was cheering home a winner at Cheltenham on the socials yesterday, whenever it was.
Australian Bloodstock rarely buy the whole horse.
Yeah, Horseshoe Investments. Ricky. No, not sure. I don't think
that'd be his missus or something.
Yeah, maybe stayed in for a bit. But yeah, there's a lot of owners. Looks like there's 100 owners in it. So anyway, good luck to Vauban. It'll be a good story and it'll be a big plunge if it comes off. But yeah, scares the absolute life out of me. Race 6 is the next one. It's the Phar Stakes. It's the 1,500 metre event. And it sort of lost its oomph a little bit, or maybe it's gained it's become a betting contest now with Lady Shenandoah out. Lazura is $2.90 favourite. Delici Boulevard $3.30. Wonderboy $6. No Strings Attached has got that good Pakenham form, $10. You got Real Class, $10. More Territories, $10. Powers of Opal, $12. And then you got Moving Out, $13. I could have shown about 4 replays, but trying to keep the show going ahead, we're only going to have a look at the Delici Boulevard lead-up race, and this is the one that was won by Lady Shenandoah and Lady Camelot.
The last sort of 100 here. Lazura's back towards the inside behind the leader, and Delici's in the yellow, sort of looking for a run behind More Territories at the moment, checking to the outside, comes back to the inside, gets clear late. So pretty interesting replay to line up because they have gone fast. It didn't look like they did. It looked like a sit sprint, which would really play into the hands of Lazura, and you would say it couldn't possibly beat Delici sort of home, you wouldn't imagine, on their last 200s. But they did go fast, which, Lazura sat close to the speed, Delici sat further back, sort of evens them up a bit. But, the difference here is J-Mac goes on Delici, and I think that he's drawn directly outside or inside Lady Shenandoah.
No, Lady Shenandoah's scratch, but it's
whatever
the
leader is. What's the leader? Oh, Spaceballs. He's drawn directly inside or outside of it. So if he follows it across... it would go from a 5-2 chance to an even money chance in the first 200 metres, which you would expect he would have a
grasp on.
Yeah, and license to do, right? So I think if he rides Delici positive, I don't think they'll go quick. I think he'll just sort of, if he uses it up the first 200, that won't be an issue. Land straight behind him, and Lazura back is out of a heart attack if that was the case. I think Lazura has to have everything possible in the world go its way to justify its price. So I just think Delici's a better horse, and sort of couldn't find like the Wonder Boy form, no string attached. It was at DK's.
You're never going to find them. They're Mexicans. You're never going to find them.
Well, it did, but what about the ride it got there? Like it was just that was absolute glory days to get over the top of that horse late, no strings attached. I just can't imagine that form's as strong as your sort of Lady Shenandoah.
Oh, I can.
Form.
I can make the case at the price. $11, no strings attached. It's had way more to give.
Huh? Mate, your dog's been in here dropping bombs on you. You've been smoking bloody Rexy's fart bombs if you're...
It's a line finder. It's a line finder.
What price is it? 10 to 1 or something? It's drawn awkward too, isn't it? It's drawn to...
No, it's 6.
Yeah, that's awkward.
It'll just park on the back of J-Mac.
Back.
The other-
The
other horse is going good too. Wonder Boy, like, it was the first time last time, and I said he was in a race he could win for the prep. He was out the back in the Manfred, had none. Then he was drawn down the inside in the straight, had none. Couldn't win down the inside that day. And then he got 3 back the row, got held up, charged. Ex-Nudo and Kappa 39, they're flying down here, those horses. So it's going good as well. They're both line finders, those horses. I don't know how they Walton line them up with those locals, but geez, they're both in the right form to be having a crack.
10s to 9 to 2, or 11 to 2 actually.
Yeah.
Someone's found it, and the other one's $15 to $11 as well. So it's interesting, Wonder Boy. So it's got Nash too.
Yeah, Nash is a fair upgrade. The other query runner for me is Powers of Opal. But K-Mac, what's it going to do?
Barrier trial first up, just given none, and then can settle close from 1. If there's a bit of intent there, it can improve for sure. For like $14 is fair for it for sure. Moving out's interesting. There was another horse in his interest, a Real Class, which won a 2,000 metre race over in New Zealand, and I think it's had a freshen in the Australian Bloodstock aboard. It took off. It was a good win over there. It sort of smells like a horse that'll have it trialled good, but it'll have a clean out run, I'd say, and sort of head towards an Oaks. That'll be their plan with it. So it's a smelly little race, but from potential improvers. But I think Delici will run well.
Yeah, if Lazura wins, I'll be eating baked beans for dinner on Saturday night. I think they should be going back to 1,200 for it. Nico, what do you think?
Oh, hateful race. So I got no opinion of Delici Boulevard. When I saw her in Melbourne, I just thought, she's just a horse. Allura, she looks exactly the same. And then Powers of Opal's definitely the best horse in the race, but is she sort of just having a BT for the Vinery, no strings attached, Wonder Boy? Or they feel like our BC team, but it's sort of the same with the Sydney fillies. So, yeah, all kinds of weird for me.
All kinds of weird. That's a good way to explain a race.
Yeah, I think Delici's best. 1,600, I'd put a big query on Delici, but it might be just right.
This is her chance in life. This is her chance in life.
All right, let's have a look at the big one. It's race 8. It's the Coolmore Classic, and Lady Shenandoah's opened up. Wowee, $2.25 into $2.10 now at TopSport. Amelia's Jewel at $6.50 got the top weight there, so 58 kilos, and then Lady Shenandoah's got 54.5. Lady of Camelot, $6.50. Curvalant, $10. Marble Arch, $12. Firestorm, $19. That's a move. Valencia, $21. Elsafina, $21. Grinzinger Bell, $21. Manal, $21. Scarlet Oak, $26. And much, much better the rest. Going to do market only because, again, there's about 5 different replays that we could show. You've just seen Lady Shenandoah. It's an interesting one with Lady of Camelot being right there with her. I'm not sure I could take 2.10 Lady Shenandoah.
I don't know if the boys know. I heard a rumour that Grinzinger Bell was a big chance of not running. Is it in somewhere else, or is it? It's got a big impact on this race because it's probably the leader if it does run. You guys haven't heard anything about that?
No. Will it be scratched?
No.
Reggie
I think it's still in. Anyway, you treat it as if it is in. Probably the key to Lady Shenandoah, because it's drawn awkwardly again, but it's drawn right around Lady of Camelot and Grinzinger Bell as if it comes across. But he kind of got keen. She got real keen last start, and they were going quick. So he won't want to push the button, but he'll probably have to. $2.40 just seems insanity. Proper insanity. You're basically taking a price that it gets the run that it got last start, I think, which is certainly not a given. Amelia's Jewel's a huge addition to that, but I can't understand how Alentia's 20s from gate 3. It just seems absolute madness. Been in farcically run races. The Amelia's Jewel run was just a complete barrier trial last time. Draws 3 this time, and if it can settle, midfield, pokey, inside run, geez, it's got to turn a foot late, any sort of speed early. It's the horse I just couldn't understand its price. Everything else looked $5.50. Amelia's Jewel seems okay. Alsafina 20-1 is a big price, just given an absolute shocker of a ride. It can run well. Lady Shenandoah too short. Marble Arch is well set up. It'll run well. Lady Camelot, you'd think the extra 100. If it beats you, too good. Curvalant sort of found the right race last start. Gate 1, it's dangerous, but what? So just sort of you can make for it against most runners, but I thought Alentia each way 20-1 was just
the wrong
crazy
price.
Odds, especially Group 1. Chris, I know Lady Shenandoah's favourite, but there's too big a gap between those two horses for mine.
Yeah, I thought when I looked at the markets, I thought, we get $3 about Lady Shenandoah, keep your powder dry. It might end up being the case, but 210's prohibitive odds for me. Nico?
Yeah, it's all ratings, isn't it? Her ratings off last start, she's just sort of thrown in here with 54.5 kilo, or 54.5, overcoming the draw. How the track's going to play, you sort of got to whale that up before you have a real good crack at $2.30. Amelia's Jewel couldn't have had much more go right for her last start, got the job done. Can she give a horse like Lady Shenandoah the weight and beat her? I think she can. Like, I don't think there's anything to say she definitely couldn't. She's sort of trending the right way. And now second campaign with Rob and Annabelle, of the way she's come back, maybe they've really sort of worked her out. It's typical of the Coolmore where you can find a big roughie, but I thought this Our Gold Hope was a huge price. Like, what is she? $126. I thought she didn't have much luck in the Millie Fox, and then was only beaten sort of 2.5 lengths in the Guy Walter, and was closing sectionals were pretty good. And again, didn't have much luck, strong through the line. So
3 out of 5 lame after that, Nico.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
that's what scared me, but also it could go one way or the other, right? Yeah.
So
3 out of 5
she
lame
might
after
just
that last run.
explode. So chucking her in the exotics, but yeah, I didn't have a real firm opinion. I thought Lady Shenandoah, you've probably had your chance to really have a good crack at her, and you're going to have to take a short price against probably the best horse she's raced in Amelia's Jewel, who just bolted in first up. I know it wasn't really a race, but she just may have come back somewhere near her best off that. And second campaign with the new stable, they might just be sort of working it all out.
Well, I think we spoke about, I think it's got its first thing Walt said, the odds. Again, it's the corporates trying to bang you into the short price for the multis and earlier, although we thought broadside could drift last week, and it still started 2s on, didn't it, or something? Didn't it?
I laughed how it was a monster upset after the race, all these guys.
Yeah.
It just kills you, doesn't it? Oh, my God.
Yeah. So, I mean, a lady Camelot finished alongside it the other day. They got all these Amelia's Jewel, Marble Arch, all flying, Coup Volant, went like a rocket in the blinkers the other day. Like, all these horses going in great, like, upside, in great form and upside into their prep. So, I said she can win, but the outside draw, got to be much better odds than that, in my opinion.
Especially around Rosehill. Around Rosehill.
Yeah, I'd probably call the Jets. I wouldn't get too committed early. That said, I did have a couple of bets early thinking they were the wrong price, and the first one was Marble Arch. I think she's absolutely airborne and just a completely different horse this time in. I thought the $13, $14 was massive for her, and what was the other horse I backed? Firestorm. 40 to 1 Firestorm looked massive to me, and I love hearing what Walt said about Alentia, because she was the next cab off the rank for me at $21. I thought she was absolutely primed to spike here, and even a horse like Curve Volant, she looks like she's absolutely back in business. Curve Volant at $10.
There's wonderful things, those blinkers.
Well, she was dead at Sandown. The money came for her at Caulfield, 1400, and she just didn't come up last prep, or she had some sort of virus or issue up in Queensland. She's always had a fair bit of ability, and pending track conditions here, this is a race that I'll get really committed in late. I think as soon as the pattern of emerges, I'll just keep betting. Lots.
Grinzing is very important. It's actually
great race.
It's a race you've got to bet into, I think, just because of there's.
I think it's going to run well. It's not, unless it's had an issue, because I just said, look, it's not nommed anywhere else. It's only nommed for another race there, the mile race in a few weeks. So,
she's never been tested against mares either, Lady Shenandoah, which is important. And Amelia's Jewel's been tested against the the best of the best. So, holy cow, yeah, it's going to be a disaster or not.
Cracking race. I'll be fascinated to see what Tristan does at 3 o'clock on Friday, because he's going to bet 110% about that. And that's plenty of opportunities for us punters who will just sit there like snipers in the trees and try and pick off a couple. Could be an absolute fill-up one way or the other. So us versus TopSport, that's how we like it. The last race we're going to have a look at, it's the lucky last. So Sydney, sort of the lucky last. They've cottoned on and they've gone behind Morphettville here. And then with Eagle Farm going off early, it's the 5 to 5 or the late race here. And I thought, so
you're betting for another 4 hours after this, but you've got this down as your last race of the day.
Well, yeah, just because they've
this is sort of the midday. This is the mid breather, the last race of the day. Go for a sandwich after this, come back and get back in the saddle.
Well, if the program is a jam, I'm going to jam you right back. So it's the Quay Clean benchmark 88 over 1400s. Levampire's is $3.50. Harlem Queen $4. Watch My Girl $7.50. French Endeavour $7.50. Glend of Silver has been backed 16 into 9. Bojangles $14. Swiss Exile is $16. And then you got Rhapsody Chick 21. Delatat or Delat $21, and then Sink Torrey, $26.
Tell me we're going to look at the replay here, please.
What's that?
We're looking at the replay here?
We're going to do the
Was
replay
Vampires?
of
So what was Hippo doing?
Le Vampires in the yellow with the
it's
red hat.
definitely what it is definitely not Les Vampires or
What's it
whatever.
called?
You're
Le
sort of like
Vampires.
hedging. It's like I think it's like Les Vampires or something, but it's or it could be lesbian vampires, whatever you want to call it, but it's not whatever you're calling it.
I wonder what Gay's doing when he came back in after this.
Have a go. Yeah, you see, I tweeted. I sort of
What
couldn't
did
help
he
myself.
went too
and then
slow.
he
In the
ran
yellow,
crawled.
red hat.
For your information, I never got a call, Walt. He said.
He crawled. I'm a gay leader.
Yeah. Oh, geez, that's not very nice, DK. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Well, I thought it looked perfectly set up, Le Vampires, to explode here at 1400 because it's just had a barrier trial first up. And the other horse that we're going to have a look at is a pretty impressive trialer. And this is the horse that's got all the form around Lady Shenandoah, who kicks off in the benchmark 88 here. The
Private
horse out
Harry
in
in
front
front.
is Private Harry. And this we keep referencing Private Harry. This horse is a
And it
very
keeps
smart
holding
horse.
up, to be fair.
Have a look at this thing. Harlem Queen, not down the outside in the light blue with the big white V and the black hat.
He definitely does give a squeeze to Private Harry sort of about 100 metres earlier than this. So it's not like it goes to the line untested, Private Harry, but he did get a click up to sort of...
Yeah.
So it's not as if he just went to the line under his own steam.
She was coming. So I think they're going to duke it out as favourites in the race. I think French Endeavour's got a knockout chance, and it's just a matter of how fast they go. And I don't discount that Harlem Queen can sort of swoop home over the top. And if the truth be told, I took a little bit of $6 Harlem Queen, but it was a fascinating contest. If you looked at the early market, some bookies had Harlem Queen $3.50 favourite.
It was never going to be $6, was it? Not with J-Mac.
Yeah, they had it sort of like topsy-turvy odds. And it was yesterday watching it sort of all unfold and go absolutely haywire. It was like, I thought it might be an IT glitch or a technical malfunction. So I was swarming around betting.
If it starts $6 with him on it, you don't even bother watching the race, mate. He will not be winning. he will not be winning. So you did the right thing to snipe the price while it was there. Anyway, he's still going.
Yeah, so I've backed it at $6 early, and I'll just see what happens with how do I say it?
Whatever you want to say.
Le Vampires.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Squirrel gripper. It should go straight to the front. Guineas Silver should be straight outside it again. They should control. There wasn't anything much there that could spoil the party. I think Watch My Girl take a sit. French Endeavour is interesting. It's drawn really awkwardly, but if he gave it the perfect ride and followed Guineas Silver over, it could land right behind him. He's ready to go. I thought $10 it was a big price, like a huge price. I think both horses, both favourites are set up for everything to go their way. He's just a bit of a sucky horse. Gaze, Les Vampires. It's just a bit of a sucky horse. Like doesn't have anything to really put right. I think it's still vulnerable. Second up 1400 to something out sprinting it. If he just gets it a little bit wrong, a bit like first up, it could get nutted. So, J-Mac's going to have to ride Harlem Queen well. It is going to be strong, but it is Rosehill, and it's probably going to be set a task. He can't create a miracle from that gate, I don't think, with this horse, and they won't want to destroy its prep. It is a kickoff run. So, actually, to be the devil's advocate, I thought Private Legacy, one of our old favourites at 30-1 or something, was completely insane, drawn low. It could sneak up the rails again. Like, it's not a race I really want to chime into heavy, but... I thought French Endeavour $10 couldn't go around a loser, and Private Legacy sort of each way drawn low. It's going to need luck, but if it gets it, it's going to steam. I thought its one trial was really good, just a little quiet poke around it at Hawkesbury or something like that. It's a very dangerous horse in amongst a lot of horses that are fairly one pace. So I think the leaders will get it their way. They'll kick, but they're one pace, and there'll be a few charging late. So looking for value for me.
Yep, outstanding. All right, that's racingwatch.com. If you want more of Walt's stuff, you can argue with me, with Walt, with anyone that's in the chat room, and it costs you less than $30 a week, and you can just throw your opinion out, and you can get shot down in flames or fantastic travel suggestions. There's all sorts of weird and wonderful conversations that just roll from absolutely anywhere, but 90% of the time it's about horse racing, and it's pretty good fun. Telegram also available if you don't want any head noise and you just want all of Walt's sets. As I said before, we've got a double ender with the jocks flying, I think, after, about 3 o'clock. So half of them are going to jump in the chopper, or a couple of helicopters are going to ride for the back half of the card down at the Gold Coast. So it's real weird scenarios there. I do notice In race 10 at the Gold Coast, the last race at 8:15, there's a horse called Piastri. It's come out of the Randwick Kenzo meeting today, so it must be racing at the Gold Coast. I think it's about $2.80, $3. I'll be having it last leg of a couple of multis. I think it's the horse to beat clearly.
Has to be the omen bet of the weekend, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's been scratched a few
Formula One
times.
on, the bloody Grand Prix on, Piastri. There you go. There the planets align.
I reckon he scratched it the last 2 or 3 weeks in a row.
I think it's D-Day. If it doesn't win on Saturday night at the Gold Coast, it may never win another race
It's a wet
again.
track up,
So
isn't he? That's probably why they're looking for the wet ground.
It'll
Yeah.
be moist up here.
Yeah, it is a bit moist in the backyard. So there you go. So that's the lucky last Gold Coast there. But the horse I'm going to give you here is Eagle Farm Race 10, which is the second last of that 11 race program that starts at 10:28 in the morning. So big day at Eagle Farm. Rimboard's a favourite here, $4.20. Cherry Rose $5.50 into $4.40. Sir Joe 7, Keeps Ace $8.50. Deer Trail $9.50. Mean Approach 10 for Chenier is $13, and then Scud $13. Going to be quick here, but Cherry Rose is a market mover, and this is a horse I like. Barrier 16, not too worried. I think it can get the 3 wide and cover here, but you can sort of see her get to the outside. Skirt Law's in behind in the pink with the upside down A. She's not a bad horse, but just love the way she hits the line. This is 1,100 metres at Doomben on a slow 6, and after this run, she went to she found another wet track. I think it was like a heavy 8 or a heavy 10, but after that run, I thought, oh well, she'll just win a stakes race somehow. They spelled her after the heavy run, but here she is just having a pipe opener up in your territory, DK. I think just this run was up at Mackay or whatever, but you never see an easier win than this. This is 1,100 metres in a Class 6 plate at Mackay, and she gets back to a benchmark 70 here.
That's Mackay, too short and straight to be Rocky.
Yeah, so that's Mackay. So she just won that 1,100 metre race easy. She likes 59.5 kilos. All the weights are pretty compressed here, and there's just not much in the race. They put up 750. Couldn't believe it. I've backed it. I took 750, took 650, and I thought she should be $4 favourite. I think Rimboard's a danger, 420. And then a horse like Deer Trail, there's going to be a ton of speed here, which is just going to suit this mare. She'll just rip down the outside, and you could have a small saver maybe on Deer Trail at the $10, and then Fortune here at $13. But been waiting a long time for this horse to come back, and just wrapped that the bookies have put up a silly price. So
what have we done to him, DK?
$5.
Waiting a long time for Rockhampton horses to make it to Eagle Farm. What have we done to this bloke?
No, 1,200 metres just on a drier track at Eagle Farms is perfect. Eagle Farm is drying out, and if you had seen it yesterday, what was it? Soft 6, remarkably, and they'll just sort of knock on the top off it. It's Eagle Farm, rail out 10 metres.
Beautiful.
So, dries a bit better than the Gold Coast, I'd say, Eagle Farm.
Yeah, I think they probably water it this week.
Yeah, a lot better. Anyway, punting form's how I do the form, so let's get into the Launceston Friday night specials here with you, Nico. First one you're going to have a look at. This is a well-travelled horse, but Launceston Race 1, it's the Armoured Stud 2-year-old maiden handicap here, over 1,100 metres, no markets, but Prince Marionette is the horse that you've found. It's been up in Sydney, but this is 2-back on the outside at Seymour.
Yeah, it ran really well here. This was not a bad race. Tom came out of this race, even the Blue Jack in behind Immerse, ran third to EDD, runs in the showdown. So there's some good form. He was in the line strongly here. Then he went off this run and ran in the Millennium up in Sydney and wasn't disgraced. He sort of had the right run and was probably just outclassed. But he would come back to Victoria and probably start near favourite in a maiden. And he's gone to Tasmania. So, it's a long way back in grade from even what he saw there at Seymour. Gets a nice sort of run, just parking in behind the speed. Interesting sort of buying. I would have thought they're going down for the bonus, but this horse was passed in for $75,000 at one of the Tasmanian sales, which is, fair money down there. Most horses go around in Tassie worth about 20 grand when you look through the BreedNet data there. So, and then he was sold in Victoria and went to Patrick Kearney. Patrick Kearney's done this before, where he's bought a horse down in Tassie, taken him back down there and got the bonus. So I don't know if this horse would be eligible, but maybe, given it was in that original sale. And there just looks absolutely no depth to this race. If you're not tipping him, I don't know what you'd even find. There looks a few of these that, have below average ability. So hopefully he's more like $1.70, $1.80 and not $1.40. But even if he is that price, you can probably just whack him into your multis. His form is just so far superior to the rest, and the trainer's got a bit of form. We're taking him down there and getting a result. So he'll be winning. It's just a matter about what price we get. As I said, hopefully around $1.70, and we can really have a crack.
It's got to be eligible, you'd think, wouldn't it? It's the only reason he'd be down there, wouldn't it? See, the owners, so it's Tas-bred. So it's 20 grand. Tas-bred breeder bonus 4,000, is it? And the Tas-bred owner bonus 16,000. So I think that's got to be the reason it's there.
Anyway, if there's
long way to go. Long way to go for a $20,000 maiden otherwise.
You'd think so. So the planets should align there, and he should be winning.
Gee, off that big SP or off those couple of bigger SPs, hopefully the bookies make a mistake there. And tell you what, no flies on Nico. Knows the ins and outs of what the sale topper goes for in Tassie, and I can confirm that anything 70,000 or 80 or even maybe 100 is upper limit for the Tassie sales. So too good, Nico. It's not much that gets past you. Launceston race 5 is the next one. It's the Vale Helen Hansen benchmark 76 over 1,400 metres. Again, no prices, so we're hoping here that Parola in the red with the yellow sleeves goes up a big price here. Nico.
Yeah, she just goes out of the view for a little bit here, so good camera work. But anyway, this was a day, it was advantage to be near the inside. GG's Mistruce the winner. Jaguar Stones in second in Trinidad colours with Frosty on, and it sort of had the run of the race. And I think Parola and Stone Cold Stunner, who are the two down the outside, Parola's just getting to line there now. She now draws barrier 1, Parola, and that race she carried 57 kilos. Now she drops to 51.5 and gets a big relative weight swing on Jaguar Stone there. I don't think there's a lot between a lot of these mares. Even Parola's last run, she was probably a bit blessed to beat Ashford when he was slaughtered. But she got the job done. The run prior, she bumped into Durazzo, who looks like the next Tasmanian star. So her form ones are rock solid. And I thought it was just a case of there's a real chance you sort of swap her run here where she gets an inside run and can be sort of just tagging the speed compared to last start where she had the pattern against her coming around the field and still run home in the second fastest last 200. Now she meets those mares better at the weights, dropping 5.5 kilos. You do have to cop a bit of a negative jockey change, but Radley run on her 2 starts ago, and it could just be a case of get her to the right spot from barrier number 1, point and shoot. I'd be interested in Stone Cold Stunner in the race as well. I think she's going better than the form cards suggest. There's sort of no knocks, Jaguar Stone running second there, but I just thought she was blessed with the position and run, drawing the inside gate, and now with the weight swings, a few of the others might be able to sort of turn the table. So I thought this was probably an opportunity where you might get sort of, maybe $5 or $6 per roller, and there's a lot in her favour to suggest that she can really turn the tables here. So she goes on top, and she'll be hopefully a good result there. It's a good meeting. There's a few other good races, so check out the racing.com tipping hub for the Launceston meeting if you want to get the full information there, and going forward, that's where all the tips will be. But big thanks to Tasracing over the summer for jumping aboard. It's been a good summer. We had some good results down there. So, really looking forward to Friday night and continuing going on the tippinghub.com.
Yeah, they do a good job with their form.tasracing website as well. So we've said it many times, but the replays, the trial information, the small pool of horses makes life really easy. So they're run by people that really get wagering, so it's no surprise they're delivering a great, sharp little product there. So big thanks to them for jumping on board, and big fans of the Summer Carnival, and just get down there and experience it yourself. It's a cracking place to visit over the summer months. TopSport big bet time, or not big bets, but early bets. Last week they got Tom Kitten, and then Headwall was their next best. It was a lucky second behind the good old Jolly Star, but the ones here we've got is Gold Coast Race 5, Saturday number 3, and it's party for 2, 500 at $7. I've had a bit of a squiz at this one. Looks like it's well in, I'd say, but it's got it's got a couple of tough competitors, pretty competitive. Chinny Boom's back with Clinton Taylor, goes good, but it's got 60 kilos. Mighty's gone from Moody to Golan. It's a pretty sharp horse, over 1,000. And then Party 2's probably well in with the 56 kilos. And then Catwalk Criminal, probably a forgive off the in the wrong part of the track there, down with 52 kilos in the same race. But a bit of a scary bet, that one. Could lob there, 500 at $7. Race 6, number 5. This could be Kanga betting back here. Pride of Jenny, 1,300 at $2.70. So
Jesus,
it's one of the weirdest bets I've ever seen.
It looks like a cut-off bet. Price what? You got to think it's. All right. Well, what can they back?
Yeah, it's to win 2,000. What about he's let him on to win about 2,000, 2,100.
Race 8, number 3 is Ornos, 222. DK numbers there, 2 for 22. $10 Ornos in the showdown, Nico.
Showdown's a weird race. Like, you got McGaw coming through what looked a really dominant win at Pakenham, and then the times and the sectionals don't really back it up. You got Kiliana,
Kiliana.
who just bolted in, and like Zara went out to ride it. Bendigo absolutely trotted in, but goes 1,000 up to 1,200 metres. Ornos.
This has done that. That's why I like this. This has done the 1,000 to 1,200 last start, still hit the line, and gets the blinkers.
Should have won? Like, I thought he was a little bit disappointing. Like, I thought he probably should have won.
It's got barrier 14 and anyway to overcome, but I like the blinkers going on.
I think it could be a race for a bit of a blowout, the showdown.
The next one is Eagle Farm, race 6, number 1, and it's Steady Ready, 500 at $4.80. This is another hot race. You got Compelling Truth, who probably looked like it needed the run from the Mac Griffith yard. That's when Bullock went up and rode it. You've got CJ Graham now, 56.5, so probably better weighted. Wanda Rocks, who was the winner of that race, claims 3, 57.5. It goes like a rocket as well. And then Steady Ready Safe Works, a good bomber. So they're going to go like the clappers here. So wouldn't shock me, but won't get it all its own way. And the last one here is Eagle Farm race 11, number 15, Bucks Fizz. This has been 7 into $5. This is the lucky last at Eagle Farm, and I haven't got that far yet, but on first look, it was
Come on, mate.
a bit of a raffle.
What are you doing? Why are you across this 11 races?
And the worst thing was there was just so many races there yesterday. So,
God, and
so all these
today and
catch-up
tomorrow.
meetings are just blowing everyone's heads off. And then you got to go to Pakenham tonight. You got to go here. You got to go there. So there's plenty of products.
Feature meeting tomorrow. Kensington meeting in Sydney today. My God.
I've got a good idea. Let's just sell Rosehill. Get rid of one meeting that we don't have to deal with.
Guaranteed $5 billion over the next 15 years. Unless Chris Minns gets voted out next week, and then we lose everything. So, yeah.
What a world. All right, hopefully we've helped you back a winner. Big thanks to all our sponsors, TopSport Punting Form and Tasracing. And you boys down in Melbourne, hope you get through the heat wave and have a Zooper Dooper to get you through.